Hi everyone, another episode of Dr. George Advice. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of buying an apartment as a first home buyer. Let's get to it. As a first home buyer, the decision to purchase a property can be overwhelming, especially with so many different types of properties available in the market. One popular choice for many first home buyers is purchasing an apartment. However, like any investment, it is important to weigh the pros and cons of buying an apartment before making a decision. In this segment, we explore some of the key pros and cons of purchasing an apartment versus just buying a house. Peep game. So let's begin with the pros first, and the first pro is supposed to be affordability. Compared to houses, apartments are generally more affordable, making them a popular choice for first home buyers who are trying to purchase their first property within a particular budget. So whether or not an apartment is more affordable than a house depends on where in the world you are. In many countries in the world, you may be able to get an apartment for a significantly cheaper price than a house. Now, in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm realizing a trend where there are big enterprises offering apartments for sale. If you are purchasing an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, open concept, dining room, and you are paying north of 1.4 million, you are overpaying. I always advise persons before you purchase an apartment, do an appraisal of the property. Do an appraisal, find out what the actual price is before you go forward to purchase an apartment. Many persons are paying a lot more for an apartment in Trinidad and Tobago, so be very careful. So the second pro of actually buying an apartment versus a house is that of maintenance. Apartments are known to actually require less maintenance than houses because apartments require less upkeep. And also, apartments, they have their strata management in place to take care of any maintenance issue that may arise. So this could be a huge advantage to first-time owners who are not actually experienced in maintenance of properties. Now, another pro of actually purchasing an apartment is that of location. Many times, apartments may be located in convenient areas close to public transportation, shopping centers, entertainment hubs. So this gives the homeowners, the apartment owners, an opportunity to live an urban lifestyle while being able to actually access all amenities. Now, this is not always the case. I've seen apartments actually located well away from shopping centers and public transportation hubs. So it is not always that scenario. So another pro of actually purchasing an apartment is that of security. Many apartments have greater levels of security than houses, with features such as secure entry systems. So you may actually see in these apartment systems, there are actually guard booths with security that only would allow you into the facility if they could verify that you are a visitor. Other than that, you would be denied entry. There may also be CCTV cameras, which is also available in houses. So altogether, these security systems may give first-time owners of these apartments an added peace of mind and a greater level of security. It could be annoying sometimes that before anybody is allowed to enter the facility to visit you, they always have to go through these security systems and they have to verify their identity, and then the security may have to call you to actually verify that you are expecting a visitor. So that is the downside of it. But other than that, it is pretty secure because of these guard booths. Now, the fifth pro I'm going to look at is that of amenities. Now, many apartment complexes, they offer a wide range of amenities such as swimming pools, gyms, and communal spaces that are not typically available in houses. Now, while amenities is a very good pro of buying an apartment, there's a downside to it. And you will see when we talk about the cons of buying an apartment that strata fees are applied many times to upkeep these amenities. Okay, so let's go with the cons of purchasing an apartment, and there are 6 on this list. The first is that of limited space. So one main disadvantage of purchasing an apartment is the limited space that is typically available. So apartments are generally much smaller than houses, which can be a significant disadvantage for first home buyers who are looking at starting a family or who may require more living space. Also, pets may many times be restricted from being in your living space. So this is a serious disadvantage. I've seen persons purchasing apartments for well over 1.4 million TT that contain 2 small bedrooms, 2 small bathrooms, an open concept kitchen and living room, and the space is very, very limited. Another con of purchasing an apartment over a house is that of lack of privacy. Now, this could be subjective. Even with a house, you may not have privacy because your neighbors could be close to your home. But definitely in an apartment, you're separated from your neighbors by a wall. So the proximity of your neighbors, it is definitely a disadvantage. Noise levels could actually be an issue. If your neighbor is actually having a house party, remember you are separated from your neighbor by a wall, and if there isn't sufficient noise insulation, then definitely the noise will be affecting you. Another con of buying an apartment is that of strata fees, and many persons purchasing apartments are not aware of these strata fees until too late. So when purchasing an apartment, a first home owner must be prepared to pay these strata fees. These strata fees are important for upkeep of the common areas that you are enjoying on the property, such as the swimming pools, the gyms, the lobby, all of these things. Strata fees, however, they can be significant and they can increase with time. So every year you're going to have to pay strata fees, and don't expect it to be the same. There's going to be some clause inside of the contract when you're purchasing this apartment that indicates that the strata fees could increase or will increase every year or as time progresses. So look out for that. So another con of purchasing an apartment is that of limited outdoor space. So once you are purchasing an apartment, you must know that you will not have any outdoor space outside of your parking spaces. So things like outdoor garden or backyard, all those things are things that would be available in a house, but in a typical apartment it's not going to be available. If you have pets, you will be required to have your pets in your living space. There's not going to be any space outside, any outdoor space for your pets to be roaming. So another con of actually purchasing an apartment is that of limited control. So living in an apartment means that first home buyers are subject to rules and regulations of the building management, which means it will limit their ability to make changes to their living spaces and personalize the environment in which they live. So loud parties and all those things may not be allowed. So the sixth con of purchasing an apartment is that of land to asset ratio. So basically, when you buy an apartment, you are paying for a portion of the shared land that the apartment sits on, along with what the building on top of it is worth. Now, this is called the land to asset ratio, and it's very important in determining how much land you own effectively and the value of it. So, is it worth purchasing an apartment versus a house? Look at all of these factors. Look at the pros that I actually mentioned along with the cons, and you evaluate whether the property that you are going to purchase, the apartment that you are considering buying, whether it makes sense. And keep in mind, it is very important to do an appraisal of that property, appraisal of that apartment space before you even purchase it. That's the only way you're going to know if you are getting a good deal. So for instance, if the persons that are selling you the apartment, they are selling you for $2 million. Many persons run and purchase that property. They go and get their bank loan and they actually go ahead and purchase the property. But if you do an appraisal and you realize that the value of that apartment is really 900,000 TT and the asking price is 2 million TT, immediately you realize, because of the appraised value being so low, significantly less than the asking price, it's a bad deal. On the flip side, if the asking price is, say, the same 2 million, but the appraisal shows that the value of that apartment is 3 million, then you know it's a deal, because the appraised value is significantly higher than the asking price, and therefore there is an opportunity for you to get more financing to do other things because of that. So I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I'll see you all on the next one.